You may experience this feeling when you enter a new role or you're in a really highly competitive environment. So imposter syndrome is actually holding you back from achieving more because you yourself are holding yourself back. And I'm here to help you conquer that. My name is Wesley, and I'm an executive assistant and executive coach. I've personally dealt with imposter syndrome and have overcome it, and I want to share these tips for you to help you conquer it too. I've personally dealt with imposter syndrome when I entered my new role as an executive assistant. I was feeling like, am I really the right person for this job? Because I was still young, still fresh out of college, and never really stepped into this manager role. But after just looking back at my achievements, I really was the person for this job. And I'm gonna share you how. In Lanny Basham's With Winning in Mind, he talks about this Venn diagram with 3 circles. So one circle represented the conscious mind. It is the part where we make analysis and conscious decisions. Another circle represented the unconscious mind, the part of us that make automatic movements and thoughts. And then the last circle represented our own self-image, how we really viewed ourselves. So an example of this is driving a car. When you drive a car, you don't have to relearn or think about putting your foot on the pedal, making the gear shift, and turning the steering wheel. All of that is built into muscle memory. Then your own self-image of being a good driver, being able to drive at least 60 miles per hour on the freeway, you need to have that confidence instilled in yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on the freeway driving with other speeding bullets past you. So this example can be applied to our own lives as well. So from that example that I just shared of the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, I looked back on my own personal achievements and experiences and saw how I was building my skills from there. I listened to so many podcasts and books about becoming an EA that I understood and had the head knowledge of what that looked like. I understand that learning about something is quite different than actually doing it, but I personally believe having the head knowledge will help you succeed in doing it because you'll know what that looks like. It's like from being bad to good. You can easily tell the difference. Let's say in basketball, for example, you can tell when someone is clearly bad at it and someone's good at it. You can give improved suggestions and criticisms to help them be better. Like, I'm going to throw out the basketball player Ben Simmons, and if I ask you, and if you know who he was, he has one major flaw that you can work on, which is shooting a basketball. It's fundamental to basketball, learning how to shoot. However, this major NBA player is not willing to work on his shot. Therefore, it's a weakness. But I believe once you're able to identify that weakness, not just in other people, but in yourself, that's how you turn from bad to good and increase your skill, whether conscious and unconscious, to help you be prepared for that role. So my first tip for you is to look back at your own achievements and accomplishments and see what you've actually done. And it turns out you may be impressed at all the things that you've done, and that's what's going to carry you forward. So my next tip are directive affirmations. So normal affirmations are positive statements to encourage yourself, like I'm strong, I'm capable of doing this job. But directive affirmations are positive statements towards a specific goal in mind. Olympic gold medalist Lanny Bassham. So I'm using a lot of sports examples because he himself is an athlete. For athletes using directive affirmations, it's to increase that self-image. So an athlete will say, I am strong and disciplined. I am the best rifleman in the world. So because of that, that's how you boost your self-image. And by the time you keep saying it, you believe it. And by the time it happens, you won't be surprised at the result that occurs. So we can learn that and take it for us as professionals, that I'm an effective assistant, that I empower everyone else in the office to do their best. And the more that I say it, the more I believe it, the more it happens. So that's one way we can increase our self-image, is by writing down these directive affirmations and having them just available to us. So I have these as sticky notes on my desk. That way I can read them every morning and just remind me that I am an effective executive assistant. And mind you that this is all in the present tense as well. So it's not I will be an effective executive assistant, but I am currently an effective executive assistant. And that right there is going to help you boost your own confidence and your self-image for conquering imposter syndrome. So my next step for you is to create this hype sheet. So my business coach told me about this, which is this Google form that she created where I could send out to all my friends, colleagues, and family to see what they think about me. So there's questions on this Google form where they say, what about me comes natural to me? What are things that I'm really great at? What are skills that I excel in? What are things I could teach on? And when do you see me most alive? And I send it to just different friends from different social circles, because they all see me in one different perspective. And it's amazing to see all the commonalities that come from like my friends from high school, friends from college, my work colleagues, and my family, and seeing all the similarities that they shared about me. So it's kind of crazy to think that we're our own worst self-critic. And this is where imposter syndrome comes in, because we're often too harsh on ourselves. And it's amazing to see the responses from our friends, families, and everyone else of how we really are and how they see us. And just having this hype sheet ready and available, you get to see all their responses and see that, wow, Wesley is really great at speaking and making people feel included. It's just a great reminder for me that when I feel down and doubting myself, that I can look back at the responses of what other people have seen and boost my own self-image that I am indeed a great communicator because of that. So I encourage you to create this Google form and just have questions of like what skills I'm really good at and whatnot. And you can actually look in the description, and I'll link my hype sheet down there for you to copy, and you can send it out to your friends and family and see their responses as well. And this will help you overcome your imposter syndrome because they can see things in you that you can't see for yourself. So my next tip for you is visualization. So Conor McGregor, when preparing for his fight with Jose Aldo, he would mentally prepare himself by visualizing. He would visualize his success, and it wasn't just winning the belt, it was actually preparing how he'll win. He visualized himself slipping the punch and going for an overhand right over and over again. The same motion, and that was exactly how he won his fight. He visualized it so much that it played out into real life, and he was able to win the championship in 13 seconds, the fastest in UFC history. So visualization is my next tip for you, and it's something that has helped me become an effective executive assistant, is spending time to just sit down, close my eyes, and think about everything that goes on in my day-to-day. So you want to use all 5 of your senses as best as you can and just imagine them of your day-to-day going into the office, what that looks like. At least for me, interacting with my executive, interacting with other people, VPs and managers, and playing it out all in your head to the point where there's no surprises. It's eventually become a TV show where you've seen so many times, you know what's coming. So by the time that something happens and occurs, you'll be ready for that moment because you've played it out in your head so many times. So visualization is a great tool for you to just become more confident in your own skills because you've seen everything happen in your own. And my last tip for you is to avoid negative self-talk. So if a basketball player tells themselves, I'm not good at shooting free throws, is he probably going to be good at shooting free throws? The answer is no. So Lanny Bassham, he gives us another basketball example of, imagine a tie game where the coach tells his players, especially the one player that's making the last shot, don't miss. What's the image that comes into the player's mind? The shot missing. So our words have the ability to reinforce the behavior. So in this case, Bassham, the coach, would tell the player to make the shot. Making the shot gives a positive imagery to positively reinforce that behavior. So the same goes for us. Again, we're often our own worst self-critic. Because of that, we want to identify the negative thoughts that come in our head and replace them with truth. So we can't stop all negative thoughts from coming in, but we can identify them and attack them with positive thoughts. So these are my 5 ways for you to conquer imposter syndrome using Lanny Basham's system, actually, to focus on your own past accomplishments, to visualize your success, using a hype sheet to see what other people think about you, avoiding negative self-talk, and directive affirmations. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're really interested in learning more about just personal development, leadership, my latest video here talks about making friendships as an adult and deepening connections with other people. And we need those relationships to support us. So you can click right here to view this video. And thank you so much for watching. If you really enjoyed this video, you can like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.